Kairavi, you told me that you are a registered homeopathic doctor in India,
Yes.
and right here in the Netherlands, you work as a homeopathic therapist. So I would love to hear a bit more about how you started as a homeopathic doctor, because you mentioned that when you decided to study
Yeah.
to become a doctor, your family reacted like, "Oh, you're so sensitive. Should you be doing that?"
Yeah. So nobody in my family is a doctor yet. So they were quite like, okay, will you be able to handle this stuff and all? But I was like, yes, I want to do, because I am only interested in learning about the human body. That's what I understand the most. And so that was, I felt that's my calling. So
But
I went for it.
Yes.
Yes, then
Did they think like you were too sensitive?
yes, I am sensitive. I agree. I am sensitive. But then that doesn't make me a person who is not wanting to become a doctor. So I think it adds to my profession as well. Like, of course, everything has pros and cons, but I take it as a good thing, because the more better I understand my patients, the better I'll be able to treat them, right?
Of course. And just to get a better understanding of how your sensitivity works,
Yeah.
like in what way do you experience your sensitivity in your life?
So, like, to be honest enough, in day to day life also, there are some events and I can cry in a snap. So, it's not that I feel too much. Like, I also understand that, okay, I maybe have overreacted or something, but then I am this way. So, there's no other thing. And for example, I am not even able to see action movies or so. I would be very happy to watch an anime or some comic films or something.
Me
Like,
too.
my
Yeah.
heart races whenever I see, oh, someone is stabbing or shooting or killing. Oh, I don't want to see. Like, I put a pillow, I cover my face with a pillow and slowly try to see what's happening, just to be there with people. Like, nobody in my family is that sensitive enough. Okay, my mom is there, but then she avoids watching such movies like me.
Yes, yes.
So,
Well, like the way you explained it, I recognize a lot of myself in it, because I cannot handle movies with a lot of tension,
yeah.
or even horror. Like I don't
Yes.
find that entertaining, or it's like too tense.
Yeah,
You know?
so I was like,
That's-
I am paying money or going to the theaters and I'm sweating all over. Oh God. My heart is racing and I'm okay, fine. Just to be there and to be there with people around me or my friends or family. So it's like I have to say, okay, let's go. But please select some good movies. Good movies according to me.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, and there's another quality related to being highly sensitive is like being very attuned to your environment, right? And
Yes.
getting people's emotions or feeling their energies. And you mentioned before that that's also
Yeah, that's
a part
also
of
part
you.
of me. Like, whenever there is some discomfort or opposite person is experiencing something, like, I would be the first one to offer help. Like, I know that he or she hasn't asked for it, but I'm like, okay, are you fine, are you okay, what can I do to make you feel better? Like, that's my first instinct or first reaction whenever I see anyone around me in trouble. So,
Yes.
and I would also call twice to check upon my family or my friends. Like, that's not usually that common, I feel. People get busy in their own works, but then I feel that need to, confirm, okay, are you okay? Are you fine?
Yes, and you feel a strong connection
Yes.
towards them, and also that part of like taking care of
Taking care
your
of, true.
family.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and I truly believe that's also a really good quality as a basis to be a doctor, right?
Yeah, definitely. The more better I understand, the better I can treat. So that's really helpful also to come to a remedy as well.
Yes.
Speaking of homeopathy,
Yes, I
we work
understand.
that way. So the better you know a person's nature or how he or she will react in a particular condition, that narrows down to a group of remedies.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, if you can use that quality for choosing the right remedy.
Right.
Yeah, let's take a dive to your medical training,
Yeah.
because you said like, okay, my family was like, okay, I'm too sensitive, but you were so motivated and you had a
Yes.
really strong drive. Like, I want to learn about it.
True.
Tell me about your medical training.
So it started with like the first year. It is a year and a half long, and we get all sorts of training about the learning about the anatomy, that is the structure of the body, normal structure of the body, then physiology, which is the normal functioning of the body. So, and pharmacy, like how the homeopathic medicines are prepared, and a couple of topics related to the philosophy as well. So, in the anatomy lectures, what was there, I'll explain you. We had to dissect a human body, a dead human body. So, it's like the smell itself, the anatomy lab's smell itself, you can smell it right through. Okay, now you are passing the anatomy lab. It's so strong. You know, the formaldehyde, they use it to preserve the bodies. So then I was super excited to understand different parts of the human body. And there were a few of my friends also, but they used to avoid attending those lectures because, again, the same thing, like the smell made them nauseous. And
But it was compulsory, right?
yes, it was a compulsory training. There's no looking back or no option. You have to go through it, and you have to like attend practicals and viva examinations.
Yes.
You have to hold the specimens in the hand, the organs, in fact. Like I was given a brain in my hand, and I was told, okay, if you answer this extra question, I'll give you some extra marks. So you need to understand what part are you holding, where is the exact location, which artery is it, which nerve goes through it. So it's that deep.
Yes, and I didn't know about this, to be
Yeah.
honest, because when I think of homeopathy, I think of remedies based off of plants,
Yes.
and also about from animals, extracts from
Yeah,
animals. But there's so much more, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that this was so elaborate.
Yes, it is. Like in India, the education is like that. The bachelor's of homeopathic medicine and surgery, that is my degree. So in that, you need to learn the human body first, and then you can come to treating people with homeopathy. So the thorough your knowledge is with the structures and functions of the human body, the better you will be able to, you will be able to diagnose the disease, and then you go to the remedy. So it's not just the remedy part, it's also a knowledge of medicine, of the body, the working and functioning of the human body.
Yes,
So
and
it's very deep.
How long does this study take?
It takes around 5.5, so you can say 6 years.
Yeah, you can like 6 years.
Yeah,
you
that's
have been,
just for bachelor's. Then if you do masters, then that's another 3 years. So round about say 10 years. But I wanted to start practicing. So after my degree, I started to practice homeopathy.
Yeah. So you've practiced homeopathy in India.
Yes.
For many years already.
Yeah, say 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. Yeah, but it sounds like when I think of the type of training that you've had to
Yeah.
work as a homeopathic doctor, that it sounds that it is more established in India to to go to a
Yeah.
homeopathic doctor instead of a general practitioner.
Like a homeopathic practitioner is as good as you can say a general practitioner, but giving homeopathic medicines. That's what I can say, because like if any complaints arise, like say common cold, cough or fever, people try and go to the homeopath mostly, and it's not that. There's a balance. Like some people believe homeopathy, some people believe into the allopathy or say general practice. So that's
So
dependent.
there is a balance.
Yes,
So
there
it's
is a
not that
balance.
there is a bigger crowd going to homeopathy.
No, like people are opting for it,
Yes.
but not every one of them. So mainly people are going to the GP, and then they also consider going to a homeopath. So that's dependent on what they believe and how they have experience, like getting treated by a homeopathic doctor.
But do you think it's more visible like in India compared to the Netherlands?
Yes, it is. Like many people are understanding the importance of homeopathy and the benefits it offers. Like it has no side effects, and also it's very good and safe to use for children. So mainly we see children and complaints of cold and cough, recurrent cold and cough. So homeopathy helps to improve the immunity and reduce the episodes of children falling sick. So that's really helpful. So it's not only good for improving children's immunity, but also the older age groups or the adults. So it's really safe.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting that it is a really safe option
Yes.
for your health, and also to restore your own health functions
Yes,
in
to
a
restore
natural way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and here, well, actually, my experience is that here many people still go to a general practitioner,
Yeah.
when they have a cold or a headache.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. And it's not that common still to go to a natural health practitioner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I am now understanding, like starting my practice in the Netherlands, I find it that okay, people first go to the GP and then somehow they try to go to a natural therapist.
Yes.
Or
And but
that
do
way.
you know where it is coming from? That in India it is more common.
Yeah. So there are more people who are opting for homeopathic study, like more students, they are getting enrolled into homeopathic colleges. So there is a wide population going into medical training
Yes.
in homeopathy.
And that's why it's also more visible in society,
Yes,
right?
yes,
That when you
yes.
walk around in the city or
So
somewhere,
many homeopathic doctors you will see, many clinics you will see.
yeah, there are many clinics.
Yeah, yeah, and you can just walk in. There is like if you can wait for your turn, and then when you are called, you can go inside. It's not like many a times you have to take a prior appointment, but then if there is some emergency, you can just go and sit to the in the doctor's clinic.
Oh, so that's also a difference, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
you can
yeah.
just walk in.
Yes, you can walk in. Walk-in appointments are allowed.
Just like going to a hairdresser here in the Netherlands, like when some people have put it up on the window, like you can walk in for a haircut.
No, but here we in India we give medical aid and that facility more openly, or you can say we give that more importance. Okay, the patient is first, because I've seen my doctors or my sirs or my teachers as well. They will wait for their patient. Like okay, he's coming at 11 p.m. Mark my words, I have stayed till night at the clinic. I was an observer at my sir's clinic. So he has waited for his patient just to give him his medicine. So that balance is different over here. Like, so he didn't close his clinic or he shut down his shutter, but then he had waited for his patient. So it's really like I would say it's commendable on his part to be taking care of his patients.
Yes. So you mean there's a walk-in possibility, but there's also possibility to make an appointment, and then the homeopathic doctor is really dedicated to help you.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And you mentioned also that there is still like a misconception in society. So can you tell me more about that?
So one of the most common misconceptions which I face is that homeopathy is slow to work. So okay, fine. I would say that okay, can you compare how it is slow? Like okay, homeopathic medicine you are taking in fever, when you are having fever, and you are also taking the old school medicine. So both the ways you will be better in 3 to 5 days, right? So that's the acute complaint. And when I go to say a more chronic complaint like rheumatoid arthritis, so since how long is a patient suffering? Say 5 years, and then you pop in a painkiller, you'll be better. Your pain will be better in say half an hour. But with homeopathic medicines, you have to take the medicine at least for 3 months to see some good result. So what we do is we treat the cause. Like I'm not treating the pain only. I'm also treating the joint, the the patient's ability.
Pain.
Yeah, the cause of the pain. So that's why we are taking time. So it's not that it's slow in general. It depends on your like what are you suffering from, whether it's an acute complaint or it's a chronic complaint.
Yes, but that misconception that comes from somewhere, right? That
Yeah.
comes from wanting to be fit and healthy again, or just wanting to continue your work.
Yeah. True.
Yes.
So, could you go again? Because that's a generalized and it's widespread. But then we are trying our best to help people.
Yeah, because then homeopathy is getting labeled as slow to work, but that comes from wanting to go ahead with your life,
Yeah.
with your obligations and so on. And I think a lot of people are neglecting their physical
Yes,
pains.
they are definitely
And
neglecting.
yeah, because it's so common to grab a painkiller.
Yeah,
You have painkillers at home.
definitely.
I don't have painkillers at home, but I think it's too common. Let's put it like
Yeah,
that,
it's very common. And self-medication is also very common. I would also suggest that not every time a painkiller will suit your body. You don't know what allergic reaction will come up or what might happen. So don't do that. My advice would be that. Just don't take in a painkiller and go on with your work.
So you mean that when you take painkillers on a regular basis for a
Yes.
longer period of time,
Yeah.
you can develop allergies or
Or
other
sometimes,
types
I'm
of
not
physical.
saying everyone will
no,
develop
not
allergies.
everyone, but it's a
Sometimes
possibility.
there is a possibility that it might be causing some damage to your organs. I don't know what organs, unless and until you get tested for entire body, you'll understand. But then if you are in a habit of taking painkillers, I would suggest please wait and see, get yourself checked thoroughly. First of all, check the cause. Why so much of pain? And if your cause is treated, your pain will automatically be treated. Pain is a symptom, it's not the disease. You understand? If
Yes.
there is something.
So, for example, when you speak about pain,
Yeah.
the physical ailment like rheumatoid arthritis
Yeah.
pops up. You mentioned it before, and then people have pain, right,
Yeah.
in their joints, in their
Yeah,
muscles.
yeah, in their joints,
In their
mainly
joints,
in their small
mainly.
and big joints as well.
Yes. So how would you go about that as a homeopathic doctor?
So I will start right from what age is the person, whether he's a male or a female. Then since when is the person suffering from, and is there a familial background? So sometimes it happens that the mother is suffering and then the daughter starts complaining after her pregnancy. So usually after pregnancy the body needs more time to get back into track, and sometimes some people bring up these issues that they are troubled with some joint pains, and then they get tested, and then they get tested positive for rheumatoid arthritis. So depends on what the patient is suffering, and since how long, and what are the complaints exactly. So multiple causes are there behind knowing the issue.
So when you know the cause of
Yeah.
of that person's
that
rheumatoid
person's arthritis.
yes,
Yes.
then you think of, okay, could this be like a plant remedy or an organ remedy
or some mineral remedy.
Mineral remedy
Yes.
that you can
Yes. So usually I use a calcium supplement or a calcium based medicine to treat the joint pains. That's what I have experienced with my patients. Like usually the pains are better in a day or two with those the calcium containing medicine. So that's a mineral medicine. So there are more than say 3,000 remedies in homeopathy from all groups, say plant kingdom, animal, then mineral, some organ secretions, and that way. So the calcium one, it comes in the mineral background and it is great for your joints. So I have that experience myself. I had some sprain, and that was a muscle issue, but then I also had injury. So then I took some arnica, that's a plant remedy.
Yes, I know arnica.
So I had only some of it left, and I just applied it over my knee. So then the pain relief, there was some relief in my pain.
Yeah, instantly.
Instant relief was there. So I didn't take it because it was a mother tincture, the basic remedy. There are various levels also. So first we start with the mother tincture. That's usually for local applications or sometimes taking in water. And then you go a little higher, and then we use it by diluting it in the sugar pills.
That's also an interesting process, right?
Yeah.
That you start off with a little doses
Yes.
or small doses,
Small doses.
of the remedy, and then when the patient has taken that for 2 months or I don't know 3 months, depending
Yeah, it's
on
usually like at least we recommend to take it for 3 months.
yes,
Like first I would say 30th potency, then 200, then
yes.
1 m.
And then you would
Slowly we would go higher, so that you will also understand how the patient's body is reacting, and then whether this is the right remedy for that particular patient.
yeah, so
And
it's
then you
definitely
can
slow to
yeah,
work, right?
yeah,
because,
yeah.
because it takes time.
So that's the case in chronic complaints, I would
yes.
say.
Yeah.
So if there is just cold or cough, so I wouldn't go with that. I would just directly give the higher potency, because that's the thing. That's the, I can say, the rules. So if it's an acute complaint, you can go start directly with the higher potency and don't wait for the slow one to act. But if it's a chronic complaint, definitely if it's a chronic complaint, then the most of the times the mind is also involved, you know. So that's, in order to reach the deeper layers, I would say I go slow to reach the patient's, the threshold and how the patient's body is reacting.
Yes, you.
To cure in, yeah.
Is it also because you want to get to know how the patient's body is
Yeah,
reacting?
how the patient's
so
body is
you
reacting.
can adjust accordingly.
True.
Yes.
Because many a times there are a lot of symptoms and it's all messed up.
Yes.
So the first month goes itself in understanding, okay, what's the exact problem and how the patient is suffering this particular symptom, so then this organ is affected.
Yes.
So a
Have
lot
you,
of
I know. Have you also experienced that patients don't tell everything like the
Definitely.
first time, right?
And when I ask, okay, how you feel? I'm fine. Oh, that's all normal. Oh, nothing, only headache. That's it.
Yes, yeah, and I think it's that's so interesting because I've also experienced that with clients.
Yeah.
That maybe it takes 3 or 4 sessions before other types of pains or shameful situations are
Yeah.
being discussed.
True.
Because we build on like the trust that the
Definitely.
client needs to feel to open up fully, right?
That's true.
And it depends on in my work, I call them clients, they suffer from,
Yeah, yeah.
because it depends also on the character if they like express it during the first session. Like,
Definitely,
okay,
yeah.
I will just open my heart and give it all to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it depends on what type of person you have in front of you.
Yes, because every individual is different and they have a different way of expressing things. Like what you really mentioned about your clients. So that's the same thing which I also experience. Like they will not open up in the first session mostly, but some patients, they tell you more than what is necessary. So then you need to
You have to,
bring them back on track.
Yes. Yeah,
But
that's
I
right.
feel happy that if patient is opening up, then I feel good that okay, he or she is trusting me enough to be treated. So that's a good thing actually.
Yes, that's right.
But then we also need to know like where to stop and
Yeah, and that's about asking like the right questions, but
Yeah.
it's like a balance between feeling open and confident enough to speak about it, and that it is being received in a good place, right?
Yeah, right.
And that we are truly helping where necessary.
Yeah.
Oh, Kairavi, I saw you speak at a workshop about ADHD.
Yeah.
And how you can help people who are diagnosed with ADHD.
Yes.
And among that, we could mention dyslexia or ADD or
A whole lot of
a whole lot of neurodivergent brains, like people who just function differently because their brains function differently. You mentioned that you hold the brain. Have you hold the brain of a neurodivergent person? Have you seen the differences?
No,
not yet.
not really.
Not yet. No.
But I have seen quite a few patients like who definitely were different, like they from the neurotypical brains or neurotypical people. I would like to say that like extremely intelligent, but then difficulty in focusing on the work. So that was one of my patients. Other patient had some anger issues, and so then the homeopathic remedies, they helped to bring their balance back. So sometimes what happens that the patient or the parent, it's him, they themselves, they are not, they are not aware of what their child is suffering, or even if they are aware, they would not like to label, like, okay, there's some problem, or then to diagnose it and to get it treated. So that there is a difficulty in treating these people, but they should be open enough to take it. But definitely homeopathic medicines, they help a lot to heal the brain or to bring the activities back to normal. They have effect on the brain. For example, I would say there is a remedy, say tarantula. So it's an animal remedy, but then it is very much useful for hyperactive children and who are not able to focus on their work
And do you
constantly.
do you mean hyperactive children in the sense of that they were diagnosed with ADHD,
Uh,
or just
hyperactive, not
hyperactive?
yet diagnosed.
Okay, hyperactive children.
Hyperactive children, not yet diagnosed, but then you can understand and you can tell a difference between a neurotypical child and a neurodivergent child. That no matter how much you tell, they will not listen. So the homeopathic remedies, they help to bring about a balance or a sense of calmness in these children. And I would also like to mention about the back flower remedies. I've also studied those. The back flower remedies, they are flower remedies, around 38 flower essences. So they act on emotions.
There are 38 flower essences?
Yes. So for
That's
almost each and every emotion, say a lack of self-confidence, for just for example, like a fear or anxiety, like of unknown origin. There is nothing wrong, but then there is just a feeling of fear or anxiety. So a few drops of those remedies, they help to calm yourself down. In fact, I would like to tell, I've tried this remedy, rescue remedy. You might have heard about it. So whenever I have to go for some, some presentation or some major workshops, so I just take a few pumps of it or few drops of it in water, and then I feel relaxed and calm. So I myself have experienced the effect of these remedies on your brain and how they calm the brain down.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And do you see yourself as as a highly sensitive person?
I am.
But like, have you been diagnosed with like a label? No. But it's just when you have a hyperactive brain or you feel nervousness.
Yeah, nervousness is
then
there.
you can take those essences.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You can, like, they are completely harmless and they are safe to use. So it's necessary to know how you feel, and the better you know, the better you will be able to choose the correct remedy.
Yeah. I'm thinking now about clients I see with anger issues, because I see a lot of introverted, highly sensitive people.
Okay.
So because of how they are, like how their character is, they don't express their emotions in such like an extensive way or a visible way.
Yeah.
Right? So they keep it more inside.
Yeah.
And then so it doesn't help when you have this type of character and you have experienced some difficult situations in your life and you have emotions about that, but you keep them inside, right?
No, it definitely helps. Like, what you're saying is true. Like, you are just adding to their troubles. Like, if you are not sharing or pent up emotions, so then there is a remedy for that as well. Like, unable to open up, or they wouldn't like to, cry in front of anyone. Or
that's right.
So there are a few remedies which cover these personalities. So they help a lot to bring their true nature out. Like, so that is harming them, right? Their emotions and everything, if they are building up the emotions or so. So these remedies will not change them as a person.
No, but
definitely not. But in a positive way.
Yeah.
So that they'll be able to share their emotions.
Yeah, you put that in such a beautiful way. Like, it brings out their true nature.
Yeah. So, because something which is working against your personality or which is working against you or your work or your family, so then that is not right. So, you need to see the balance, and for that balance, you can see for homeopathic remedies or backflower remedies. Like a homeopathic doctor or a therapist can help and guide you that okay, you fall into this particular category, and these remedies will help you.
Yes. So when I hear you talking about this, can I conclude that you also have patients coming to you who deal with emotions?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so they mention their emotions instead of, oh, I have like physical ailments and different physical symptoms.
Yes, so that's I go stepwise. Like sometimes it's difficult to extract the nature. How do you behave? So I ask. Sometimes I questions. My questions are like, okay, how will you behave in a particular situation if you are, okay, dealing with like some emotional imbalance or some argument, and you want to put your point. So will you say it directly without considering other people's feelings, or how will you react? I just try and ask them their reaction.
Yes, you try to figure out
That how will they,
what type of
what type of,
personality they are.
then how was their childhood, or what are their hobbies. So that gives you an idea that whether they are an introvert or an extrovert. So these questions, they help me to understand their how they are, like as a person, or how's their nature. Or sometimes I ask to their relatives or who is accompanying them. Sometimes they come with their family or without.
Oh,
Yeah,
serious.
so that's also one more thing about gaining information about the patient. You can ask to their family, their immediate, you can say spouse or some sibling who they are close with.
So would you invite them over to your practice when you
If
see a patient, if you think you need more information?
Yes, I will. Not for the first time, but definitely if I'm confused and if I'm not able to extract more information from the patient, I'll try and ask the partner or colleague to accompany the patient. I sometimes I
Yes.
ask for that.
Yeah, I do that only with young adults, like
Okay.
clients who are younger than 18.
Okay.
Then sometimes I will ask their parent if they
Yeah.
would like to come over for a session with
Okay.
the two of them.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's. But normally, when clients are like maybe 20-year-old, 30-year-old,
Yeah, yeah.
and older 40-year-old, then they just come.
Yeah, that's
by themselves.
sensible actually, but it's there that okay, fine, someone will always come with you at the doctor's clinic in India. So then
Yes, that's right. And also, it makes me think of a colleague of mine who works as a psychologist but has developed herself as a systemic therapist.
Okay.
So, working with that method, she also invites people, loved ones, to come.
Loved ones.
Yeah.
So just to know more about the patient or the person
That's
you are
right.
treating.
Yeah, and
That's
also
it.
to have or to create or to guide that positive effect within the system
Right.
of the
So
client.
yeah, so that I also understand that okay, what remedy I have chosen is correct, or it will help the patient. So I want to be sure about my remedy because I want to help the patient to my fullest.
To you, it's more like a confirmation
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
what you have observed before.
Yes,
within
and
the
also
patient.
it's an addition, or if a change of prescription might also be needed sometimes. Because not every time every person will say the truth. And
Yeah, that's right.
I am
That's
sorry,
right.
but I have to say this because
Yes.
like not every time they will tell you the true side. So that's when you listen to the other side of the story, you'll understand, okay, that's the thing.
Yeah, I know that like some things were left out or not
Yeah,
mentioned.
not mentioned.
Not mentioned. Yeah.
Or incorrectly mentioned or incorrectly put up.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So, Kairavi, you're now based in the Netherlands,
Yeah,
right? And you have been here for how long?
a year.
A year. So, how do you find it living here in the Netherlands and building up your practice?
Yeah, it's really good and overwhelming actually because I had never thought I'll be able to practice over here. since I am accompanying my husband for his work. He's a researcher. So yeah, I'm finding like I feel good, but then there is a big difference in my life. Like my life has turned say 360 degrees. I'm never used to staying alone, and I'm always brought up like I'm brought up in a joint family, and after marriage also we have stayed together with my in-laws. So that's a big change. Here I am able to, explore a new side of my personality.
Oh, that's yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also it could be scary, of course, if you've
Definitely.
always used to being with your family.
Yes, yes, yes. Because back in India, we are like, okay, some festivals, okay, we'll celebrate, we'll come together, and a lot of get togethers and a lot of different things happening. But then I love my husband dearly and I'm here with him. So then, okay, I said I want to do something for myself as well. Like, so I started searching for like where I can practice, and then I found Sandra, and I'm working with her now.
Yes, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you meet Sandra?
I connected with her through LinkedIn, and then we just met, and we met offline, and then things hit it up. Like it was really good.
Yes.
Like I was searching on LinkedIn homeopath in the Netherlands. So Sandra's profile came up, and then I was like, okay, let me see.
Oh, yes, fantastic. Oh, LinkedIn is such a great tool
It's
to
amazing.
connect with people.
And the way people use LinkedIn over here, it's really amazing. Like in India, it's not so. People are still going, like it's there. But then for doctors and therapists, it's like mouth to mouth publicity. It's like, okay, this doctor is good for your stomach complaints. This doctor is good for XYZ complaints, and that way. And then people go there. So
that's how it goes in
it's,
India.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, and you
So-
mean that here it's more digital? Or?
Yeah.
Is
It's
it?
more digital. Like in India, for of course the jobs and engineering and everything, that's completely digital. But then if you say for a doctor's practice, people will still go, okay, how much rush is there in that clinic? How many patients is he seeing per day, or she treating per day? That's also a measure to see how successful you are as a doctor. That's another thing.
That's another thing which, yeah,
It's different.
is being used. Yeah.
But I'm definitely getting used to the life over here, and I love cycling.
Oh, you love cycling. Fantastic.
And
Yeah.
it's different over here. Everything is different, but definitely it's adding new layers to my personality. I would say.
Yeah, because you're discovering yourself now as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. So it's very different, and also staying alone with your own thoughts.
Yes.
That's very challenging when you have not been in such a situation before. So then you need to constantly keep a check of what you are thinking. Sorry. So that is different.
Yes, and how have you dealt with that? Because I think that's one of the biggest challenges
Yeah.
for people who have moved to another country, because during the first phase of your new life, you're
Yeah.
alone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
so
yeah.
you have to actively find your new groups of people. And,
Yeah. So like I try and go, and if there is any networking event, around our area, or I try walking in the parks around our area. Like I try and be busy. Like now, I also love yoga.
Yes.
I do yoga like almost an hour daily, and I've recently learned Reiki. That's a type of meditation practice also, to keep my mind balanced and calm. So that's a you can say I've inculcated in myself, like, okay, proper thinking.
Positive
thinking.
Yes.
So because it's very easy to get lost, right? Like, okay, in a chain of negative thoughts, and you end up crying. Okay, it's not that I have not ended up crying. I have many a times, but then I take it up as, okay, fine. Now what other option do I have? I am staying here. I am doing good than I had expected. Why am I not being grateful? So these are the questions which I ask myself, and then I bring myself back to track. Okay, we are doing good and we will go on. That's my motivation.
Great. And what I've also noticed in your story is that you opened up also to a newfound resilience in yourself, right?
Yeah.
To you felt into like negative mood,
Yeah.
but you have to get yourself out of it again.
Definitely, because
Yes, and you have to do that like every time.
yeah, because like in India also, I'm not such a person who will, keep crying. Like, okay, I will cry, but then once I have cried, I finished crying, I will search for a solution. That's very important for me. Like, I want to be happy. Nobody likes to suffer or nobody likes to be in pain. But then I try to find what suits me and then I work on it. So that requires a lot of perseverance and support. And of course, all your loved ones, everyone is there, but you have to stand up for yourself.
Yes, that's right.
yeah.
And you're using different methods to
Yes.
to take care of yourself,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because that's also a big part of my work with working with highly sensitive people, because
Yeah.
they find themselves going over their boundaries
Yeah, yeah.
more often than they should have or want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really healthy and good to have your own self-care routines.
Yes, because that only keeps you on track. Like, let it be anything, let it be dancing or painting or cooking or some simple nature walks. But if it energizes your soul or it helps your brain, so I would suggest please do it. Like, because I am doing the same thing for myself. It's not that I'm taking medications. Okay, I'll take the rescue remedy which I mentioned earlier, but only on some extreme situations when a lot of things are coming together. Then that's a different story. I will take a few drops of it and maybe I'll forget also that I had taken or I have to take. But then what I feel or what I find more helpful is your daily talk to yourself. The positive talk and how you see yourself as a person and what you want from yourself. So that's what I am trying to do for my own, like my own personality. And
Yes, that's actually one of the topics that comes across lots of times in my work, the inner critic in a person.
Yeah.
You know, you have some people have like a really strong negative voice in their head, and it takes a lot of courage but also a lot of energy to transform it into a positive
and
voice.
it has to become a repetitive action, like it has to become a habit. So we cannot just give up. Like we need to practice it daily. If you are doing yoga or if you are meditating, make sure you are meditating at least say 10 minutes and see the difference. So sometimes I find the breathing also very helpful. So whenever I am very much stressed or something, I take deep breaths, slow deep breaths, hold, and then slowly exhale at a count of say 5.
Yeah, so next to being a homeopathic doctor, you're like a self-care specialist.
Yeah, I think so, because many of the times counseling helps. Talking with people helps them a lot. That's what I have noticed. Because I have a few relatives, they are like, okay, I wanted to talk you, or I wanted to ask a colleague in my office, he just collapsed. So I am also having some acidity complaints and some breathlessness or some gas. So will it be related to the heart? So you understand where their mind is, that okay, am I also going to be collapsed like that person who had a heart attack? So I have to explain them, okay, listen, you don't have to, first of all, you don't have to self-diagnose. Second thing,
That's a good thing.
yeah, don't Google your symptoms. Third thing, ask to a healthcare professional and check if you are feeling better with your gastric complaints, and after taking the gastric related medicines, he is on my medicines as well, homeopathy, he is completely better with his gastric trouble. But this particular nature is of anxiety and fear about health. So that's about his personality, that he thought that he might also suffer from a heart attack or something. So it's very difficult to make people understand, but once they have understood like how the body works, and like once they have talked with me, it's like, okay, now I feel good. Now I feel relaxed after talking with you. Thank God I'm not going to suffer. That's what they say.
Yes, 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 yeah.
So
they have to understand
they have to
where
understand.
it is coming from, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So many of them, they get scared. Okay, some XYZ person or a friend or a family member suffered from something. But that sufferer, you don't know his or her habits. So habits or
right.
his daily routine or what was his or her life about.
Yes.
And you cannot just compare yourself, right? So that is also a big thing. People keep comparing people, they then lose themselves.
Yes, I recently had a conversation about that, about comparing yourself with others.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that it comes from a point of fear.
Yeah.
And so it's actually the mind who wants to analyze and actually
Yeah.
overanalyze and
Overanalyze.
compare. And yeah, and you make yourself scared for something
And
that
then-
it isn't there.
Yeah.
But it works also like that when you are so scared and you feel something in your body, the pains you feel, they are there.
They are there.
But it doesn't have to be that intense or
that serious, because
yes, serious. That's what I was
if your
looking
thought
for.
process, it goes on that way and there is a chain of negative thought going on, then there might be some anxiety also, right?
Yes.
With it. So some physical symptoms also might appear. So you just need to put a break on your thoughts and think whether are you on the right track. And if you're so scared, then like you can just talk to the person whom you believe the most, as a doctor or as a therapist.
Yes.
Just give a call to your therapist or to your friend, but just share what are you thinking, like, and why are you thinking.
That's right. Yeah.
So
that's like one of the quickest solutions.
Quickest solutions, I
Yeah.
swear, because if you feel unwell and you talk to your friend and you are much better. So that's common for mostly like most of the people. Like talking and sharing problems, you cut it by half, I say.
Yes. Yeah, and they lower like the physical sensations that
Definitely.
you were feeling.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right. Oh, and I want to like finish up with asking you if you also have experienced that when you receive a patient and they come with a physical complaint, that you can like give them a remedy for it from your perspective as a homeopathic doctor. But yeah, we've spoken about self-care, so
Yeah.
there are so many different modalities that people can open up for.
Yeah.
And what I've seen with people who are recovering from a burnout, for example, that they use different modalities in daily life to recover and to get back to the basis that they want to feel again, like in terms of energy level, in terms of a positive mind, in terms of am I breathing correctly?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that it's more like the holistic approach is more a combination.
Yes, definitely it's a combination.
Being active in different modalities.
Yeah.
Right.
So you need to choose what makes you happy or what makes you sane.
What makes you sane? Yeah.
That is really important to, to connect to your inner self, to understand like this will work for me and I'll feel much better. Because every individual, I will say, is different. So just like the homeopathic remedies, everyone will need some other holistic approach. Like some is feeling better by yoga, someone is feeling better by Zumba. So
Yes.
So it's just to connect with your inner self and do what makes you happy. Like just, pursue that path and things will fall in place.
That's beautifully put. And I think that's also the answer to the last question that I wanted to ask you. Like, what is your message to the world?
Yeah, so first understand your goals and do what it takes to reach your goals. Because when you look at your life, nothing is more important than achieving your goals, what's your life ahead, and also to share, be kind, and treat everyone with equal love and respect. So that's really important. We just take everyone for granted or so, but then just just go there and just have a big open heart.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you.